Hello everybody, so today we're going to be speaking about the Iraqi dinar and what the Lord showed me regarding this specific currency. I want to add a caveat before I speak about the Iraqi dinar. I am not a financial advisor. I'm only a servant of the Lord who is obedient to put out YouTube videos when he calls me to do that. And 6 weeks ago I was watching a documentary on YouTube about Baghdad, and when the credits came up at the end of the documentary, the Spirit of the Lord came upon me and he began to speak to me about Baghdad, which is in Iraq, which is Babylon, and then the Iraqi dinar. So that's how it all came about. I have given warnings in the past because my part of my assignment is to be a watchman, and I gave a warning about a coin called Pepe, and if you're new to my channel you can go back and have a look at that particular video. And if you read the comments section, a lot of people disagreed with my warning. However, it has come to pass because the prophecy was about there being the Lord warning that Pepe is a Trojan horse, and lo and behold there was a rug pull with Pepe, which was an inside job which caused the price to come down. And so you had people taking profits who were inside the team and leaving project, and I think that's the sum of it. So the warning did come to pass. So why I'm telling you about Pepe is because I understand that sometimes somebody could be so pro a currency or so pro a coin that they fail to take back what they hear to the Lord, to test it or to see if what the person is saying is correct, and they base their decisions more on emotions than what the watchman is actually trying to deliver to the people. So what I would say is, instead of getting emotional about any warnings that someone might give you, take it back to the Lord, and you can, if you still think that the warning is not valid, you can continue to invest. If you think that the warning is valid, then ask the Lord for confirmation. Again, ask the Lord for 3 confirmations before you make financial decisions. So I have no prior knowledge about the Iraqi dinar, because when the Lord gives me something to purchase or to buy, it's because he's given me personal revelation about it. I don't watch wealth transfer videos because the Lord said to me I should not watch any wealth transfer videos, because what happens, what the Lord showed me, is that sometimes you'll hear something and then you'll get confirmational bias. So you will confirm the bias you're hearing about. And sometimes you will hear something and there'll be herd mentality, and the herd will follow the prophecy, and there'll be no testing, right? So to mitigate that, the Lord said to me, don't watch other wealth transfer videos. You know in part, you see in part. The part that I give you is enough for you to pursue what I've called you to be, and that's a Joseph. So I don't watch other people's videos, although I admire everybody who puts out stuff for the community, and it's important because we're a body and we are part of a puzzle, and if you put the puzzle together, then we should complement each other, right? In the community there should be a complement, and where there is somebody who comes out with a warning, then you can test that warning. So like I said, I was watching this documentary on Netflix, and the documentary was about Baghdad, and when the credits came up, the Lord was speaking to me about the Iraqi dinar, and the first thing he said to me is, go and warn my people about the Iraqi dinar. Go and warn my people about the Iraqi dinar. Now, because I hadn't watched the videos about the Iraqi Dinar, I didn't know what was said, only that it was positive, and most people were FOMOing in because it was positive. That's all I knew. So when the Lord said, go warn my people, I had to spend a bit more time with the Lord to make sure that I was actually hearing from him. So I wanted to be 100% sure, and I went back for 3 confirmations, right? Because that's what I do when I'm not sure about something. Sometimes I'm so convicted, I will just make the video. But when I'm not sure, I pray about it and I seek the Lord and I really ask him, because I don't want to lead people astray. So anyway, when the credits were coming up, the Lord began to speak to me and he said, warn my people about the Iraqi Dinar. He downloaded the fact that this particular currency is from the province of Iraq. Iraq is Babylon. If you know your Bible, you know that Babylon is mentioned in the New Testament and it's also mentioned in the Old Testament. And the actual Babylon in the Old Testament is in the book of Daniel, and the king that presided over Babylon was Nebuchadnezzar. That kingdom was the wealthiest kingdom in history. And we know this because the Bible records history through a timeline of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. If you look at Babylon, the statue that Nebuchadnezzar has a dream of, the head of Babylon is gold. And out of all the metals that are present in that particular dream, the most precious metal is gold, and it's represented by Babylon. So we know that Babylon had a lot of economic power. It was a very wealthy place. It was represented by gold. And further to that, it was governed by Nebuchadnezzar, who was enslaving the Jewish people, and he had a lot of pagan practices and a lot of pagan ways. One of those things that the Lord highlighted to me was the gate of Ishtar. And the reason why he highlighted that to me is because I'm writing a book about gates, because 2024 is the year of gates, where Joseph will occupy the gate. And it's important to know about good gates and bad gates. And one of the gates that the Lord highlighted to me was the gate of Ishtar, which is in Babylon. So the Lord was saying to me that the presiding power over Babylon is the Prince of Persia. We know that from the book of Daniel. The Prince of Persia presides over Babylon, right? And then you have the gate of Ishtar, who was a goddess who was worshipped for sexuality and sexual rituals. And so when the Lord was speaking to me about the Iraqi Dinar, he said the spiritual climate governs the physical climate. So you have the spiritual, which is the Prince of Persia, the gate of Ishtar, presiding over the economy. The economy presides over the currency. And then prophetically, he began to speak to me about how New York is likened to a modern Babylon, another financial capital of the world. When you look at the New Testament, there's a spiritual Babylon. It's called the Whore of Babylon. And New York is likened to the spiritual Babylon. So it's rooted in the physical Babylon of the Old Testament. Remember, the New Testament has its roots in the Old Testament, right? And so New York becomes the modern day Babylon, right? But the Lord wasn't speaking to me about New York in this occasion. He was speaking to me about Iraq and the Iraqi Dinar, and the fact that this province or this area is governed by the territorial or the principality called the Prince of Persia. When Daniel prayed for 21 days, his prayers were blocked because of the Prince of Persia, right? So you have light and darkness, this juxtaposition happening in that area. And what the Lord was saying, you know, that there's principalities that govern this area, and there's gates that govern this area. Speaking spiritually, metaphorically and prophetically, here's what the Lord said. The Lord said that just as Abraham and Sarah were impatient to wait for Isaac, they bore Ishmael. Now Ishmael is the forefather of the Arab tribes, and Isaac is the forefather of the Jewish tribes. So if you look at the currency, the dinar is in most Arab countries. You can go and have a look. I think there is 11 countries. I stand corrected. It could be 7. This is 6 weeks ago, remember, when the Lord showed me this. So I'm not too sure about the actual number, but there is 7 currencies that hold the name dinar, and they are all Arab countries, right? Coming from the line of Ishmael, who was the child that they failed to wait for the promise, which was Isaac. So what the Lord is showing me is that the dinar belongs to the Middle East. It is an Arab currency. And he said that my people have failed to test the word. They've failed to test the prophecy that was given. And the Middle East will profit from the dinar when it does appreciate in value, and the profits will stay in the Middle East. The Lord is saying that the West has become motivated by greed, and they've become motivated by their emotions, and they have failed to take back the prophetic word to the Lord and to inquire of him what the meaning of this particular prophecy is. The Lord said that the West will not taste of the profits of the dinar. The dinar's profits will stay in the East, and the child of promise for the West is Isaac, not Ishmael. And so the principality that governs that area, which is the Prince of Persia and the Gate of Ishtar, will see to it that those prophets remain in that particular region. Please take what I say back to the Lord. You can pray about it. And then the other thing that the Lord is saying was that Babylon is the head, and it's gold. It was the most wealthiest empire, and the next empire in that dream was silver, and that was the Medo-Persians. So the King Cyrus took possession of Babylon when the time for the kingdom of Babylon to fall, the gold to fall, and the silver to take over. Now, what the Lord is showing me is that Medo-Persia, the Persia part of it, really stood out for me. And the Prince of Persia really stood out for me. And if you look at the gold kingdom falling away and then the silver kingdom coming to pass in that dream, it was the Persians that took over. So it's almost as if the Lord was saying that there's going to be a rug pull, just like how with Pepe there was a rug pull, right? And so he was talking to me about how the Prince of Persia is going to rug pull the Iraqi dinar from the West. And so you can take that back to the Lord and pray about it and test what I'm saying. And so the West has been, the Lord has said that the West is very motivated by greed. And the herd mentality, you know, when somebody gets a prophecy and they don't test it, and they just have this way of thinking that might be not what the Lord had intended, it causes the Lord to be very grieved, right? It causes the Lord to be very grieved. So what the Lord is saying, this is a lesson that everything you hear is good, and you need to take back what a prophet says to the Lord, and you need to ask the Lord how is it applicable to you. But because just because something goes up doesn't mean that you'll profit from it going up. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to put the written prophecy right at the end of this video. If you guys want to take a screenshot and then go and pray about it, I would encourage you to do that. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I've got no interest in the Iraqi dinar. I never have had any interest in it. And I've got nothing against those who have invested in it, only to warn those who are called to be Josephs to test this particular word and take it back to the Lord and see what he says for yourself without confirmation or bias. And so this prophecy was given on the 2nd of November 2023. Listen, the Spirit of the Lord, the Sovereign Lord says, greed. My people are ruled by greed. They have heard about the Iraqi dinar, but have not inquired of me. Let those who have ears hear. The principality that governs the dinar is the prince of Persia, just like in the days of Daniel. Why are my people so foolish? There is nothing new under the sun. Iraq is Babylon, and I desire to free all my people from Babylon. Babylon is a place of slavery for my people, of my people. You fail to discern. The prophet of the Middle East will remain in the Middle East. Now notice that the Lord is saying that the dinar will still be profitable. It will still increase in value. It will still appreciate, right? There will be profit on the dinar. But the profit will remain in the Middle East. The Lord says that the West will taste nothing. And I thought that this is because of greed, right? Not only will the Prince of Persia rug pull on the Iraqi dinar, but it's also because of the greed of God's people when they discern the prophecies that are out there. Just like Ishmael belongs to those who err in waiting on the promise, so too does the Iraqi dinar's fate belong to those who fail to inquire of the Lord. So the Lord is saying that all those who have gone ahead without seeking the Lord's face, yes, the dinar will appreciate. Yes, it will be revalued. Yes, there will be something that occurs with that currency. But people have failed to go back to the Lord and ask the Lord what it actually means. And this is what the Lord is saying, that the West will taste nothing. They will taste nothing because it is Ishmael, and Ishmael belongs to Ishmael. Ishmael belongs in the Middle East. Shabbat Shalom.